What is up, everyone? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and if you're here for today's stream, we really appreciate it. I know it's not the normal 2 p.m. stream, but the Yankees are playing a baseball game at 2 p.m., and maybe regrettably so, they were playing that baseball game because it was a 7-0 loss to an Oakland Athletics team that had the worst ERA in the American League coming into today's game, and I don't really know. Like, the Yankees are 6-10. In their last 16 games, they've played really poorly with runners in scoring position. They have looked bad for a little over 2 weeks now. And look, baseball is a game of ups and downs. Baseball is a game of slumps and hot streaks. Baseball is a game where you can go 14-4, or excuse me, you can go 13-3, or you can go, as the Yankees have, 6-10. And for the Yankees, their average margin of defeat over this stretch before today's game was 2 runs. Obviously, that number has increased after they lost by 7, but they have lost a lot of close games. They've lost a lot of baseball games that they should not be losing. And I'm going to try and navigate through what I believe are the statistical reasons for it, the why, and then talk about whether those things will maintain throughout the year, whether I believe they will maintain throughout the year, whether there's weight in what they're doing and how much it's going to affect their future performance. There's a lot we're going to get through. We're going to talk about Will Warren. We're going to talk a little more about the promotion from Spencer Jones to AAA because he hit his first AAA home run. Before we get into everything, though, we really appreciate your guys' continued support here on Fireside Yankees, whether it's here on the live streams, whether it's on the Facebook, on social media, with Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. We do appreciate your continued support there. I am going to keep doing these live streams. I know today's probably not the day that people want to be listening about the New York Yankees because the New York Yankees just lost a baseball game. And I bet you guys want to talk about anything else other than the New York Yankees right now. But if you're watching this live, if you're watching this as as a already recorded show, we appreciate your guys' support. We're going to get started right now just talking about what happened in this game because this was a bad baseball game. It was a bad baseball game by every account. Not even remotely acceptable. I don't know what else to say about their performance with runners in scoring position. It has been bad. It has been really bad. It has been like, I don't know how it's this bad. I really don't. And I'm going to just get this displayed here. Talk a little about this game here. The Yankees didn't hit well. This was not a game where they got unlucky. They had some moments where it's like, how did that ball not go out? Why isn't that ball going out? But for the most part, this was a baseball game where the New York Yankees just didn't hit. And that has been a trend and a concerning trend for them throughout the last 2 weeks. More than 2 weeks at this point. They have not played at a level that's acceptable. They haven't. And to be completely honest with you guys, if they want to win the division, it has to turn around. It had to turn around a week ago. And we talked about this with the Boston series when I recorded after that, saying this is a stretch where the Yankees need to play dominant baseball to put that sweep behind them. They have not done that. They have not. And look, I know Schmidt didn't pitch great today, and that is something we will talk about, but it's not because Schmidt, or it's not because the rotation has been bad. It's not because the bullpen has been bad, although there were some bad performances today from Alan Winans just being bad, but got sent down. It's not really something I'm going to care about too much. This team is not hitting these spots. And I'm going to put a lot of that, not all of it, but I'm going to put a good chunk of it, not even above 50%, but a good chunk of it on Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has 1 RBI with runners in scoring position in the Yankees' last 16 games. 16 games. In the Yankees' last 16 games, Aaron Judge has 1 RBI in 20-something plate appearances, runners in scoring position. I don't know how the Yankees expect to do anything, if that's going to be the case. You can't, and I don't want to sit here and make it seem like I'm saying the Yankees need him to be Superman every game in order for them to win baseball games, but they need him to cash in more than 1 RBI with runners in scoring position. One in 16 games. 1. I'm not asking for 3. I'm not asking for 20. I'm not asking for 15. I'm not asking for 10. Can I get 5? Can with 20-something opportunities, can I get 5 RBIs? Can you bring in 5 runs? It's 1. It's 1. That right then and there, you've given Aaron Judge You're basically averaging over 1 at bat with runners in scoring position a game over this stretch for Aaron Judge. That should be a recipe for success. You should win a good chunk of those baseball games, because if Aaron Judge hits like Aaron Judge, these are wins. The Yankees are probably 10-6. The Yankees are probably 5.5 up in the division. But instead, they're about to fall to just half a game up in the division. And that has to do, in my opinion, with what's been unacceptably bad baseball with runners in scoring position from Aaron Judge. Now, it's leaked throughout the entire lineup. The entire lineup has really struggled in those spots. It's been up and down. But when you give basically one over an opportunity a game, at least an opportunity a game on average, and you're not getting runs in those spots, when you only have one run to speak of in those spots, that's really bad. And again, it's not a matter of Aaron Judge is the problem with the New York Yankees. Aaron Judge sucks. That's crazy talk. But yeah, you expect the MVP, the best player on the planet, the guy to play like the guy. I'm not asking for him to have 20 RBIs over this stretch. I'm not asking for him to hit 400 over this stretch. I'm not asking him to hit. He could hit the way he's hitting over the last 2 weeks. And if it was in the right situations, Yankees are probably 8-8, maybe 9-8. Like, that's how important it is for him to just be decent in those spots. The Yankees have set him up time and time again to drive in runs, and he has not. Last night was pathetic. The Yankees, I don't know if you guys noticed, the Yankees have been shut out for 14 innings against the worst pitching staff in baseball, outside of the Colorado Rockies. In fact, going into play today, if you want to use adjusted ERA, which does matter because the Rockies play in abnormally bad conditions, the Oakland Athletics are the worst pitching staff in baseball. The worst. Worse than FIP, worse than ERA, second worst in expected FIP, second worst in strikeout percent, fourth worst. Oh my God, I can't believe it gets worse than the Rockies. It gets worse than 19%. Highest home run rate allowed. No Mason Miller. Tomorrow's a 1-run game. You're going to lose. You're going to lose that game. Going to lose that game. I don't think that Judge should sit. I think he just has to hit. I'm going to be honest with you. He just has to hit. And if I'm going to be honest with you, Stan has to hit as well. Has to. Again, I have a really hard time sitting here and believing that that the offense is supposed to be good or is going to perform without Aaron Judge producing even a little bit, just a crumb. 1 RBI, one RBI, one game. No, I know you're not implying sit him permanently, but I will say he just has to hit. And it's not like Stanton's hitting either. That's the other aspect of it. You're playing Stanton in spots that you'd be playing Rice, and Stanton's not hitting. The at-bats are bad. It's bad at-bats. Bad. Judge, bad. Wells, bad. Wells has been awful over this stretch. Terrible. Awful. The approach is gone. Chase rates up by a ton. But again, when we talk about what are the problems with the New York Yankees? What are the issues with the Bronx Bombers? Why are the Yankees not hitting? I don't think it's a fundamental thing. I don't think they're trying to strike out. They're trying to do this. No, they're trying to score runs, but they're not. They're not, and that's a problem. Now, overall plate discipline, I'll look at the stats for this. We can actually look at this together. Now, it's not going to be updated for today's game, so, take it with a grain of salt, but we can still look at this together. See, plate discipline. Let's share this tab. Yankees, their chase rate hasn't been too high. Everything looks normal. This looks normal. They're not even whiffing a lot over this stretch. What is happening, let's look here. not barreling it as much, but they're still barreling it enough. Like, it's so weird. I think the thing they're not doing is pulling the ball. I think that's the thing. Like, they're not, everything's like to center field and hit hard, which, like, you know, it's going to get caught at Yankee Stadium. And yeah, Stan does start slow off the IL. Goldschmidt slump definitely does not help at all. Wells slump doesn't help at all. But again, like, the Yankees desperately, so badly need Aaron Judge to hit with runners in scoring position or be a run producer. I get so frustrated because you're blowing a division that you should have just buttoned up already. And you look at the guy that it's not like Aaron Judge is going on a tear and no one's on for him. That's a different kind of frustration because that is more of a, all right, well, your best player's doing what he's supposed to do. The rest of your team is not doing it. And that would create an obvious problem to solve, which is just add as many bats as possible wherever they fit. The problem is that that's not what's happening. The problem is that your best player isn't playing at the level he needs to. He's not. He's been terrible, awful, killing you, losing you baseball games for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's not a lot to be like, oh, well, he sucks now. Oh, well, his season's over. It's going to turn around. But I needed him to turn it around in Boston. I needed him to show up this week. I needed him to show up because the rest of the team stopped showing up. And now the rest of the team you're starting to see some signs. Some guys starting to get going. Rice in a little bit. Dominguez hitting a little bit. Bellinger's hitting a little bit. Grisham's starting to wake up a little bit. Volpe's working some walks. Now he's gone. He's still gone. He's still not back. And he's getting opportunities to win you baseball games. He's coming up in spots. Cincinnati, Yankees blow the lead. He's up. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Jazz. I mean, I'm a moron. Jazz has been awesome. Yes, Jazz has been awesome. How could I forget? Cincinnati, base loaded. No, 2 outs. Aaron Judge up. Pitcher's wild. He chases 1-1. Pop out. Inning over. Today, 2 on, 2 out. Aaron Judge up. Doesn't show up. Baltimore, you're happy. You think the heavens Jazz showed up because 2 outs, 2 on, doesn't show up. Go ahead run. Doesn't show up. Can't get the big hit. Boston, how many times against Boston? I know he had the home run against Garrett Crochet. How many times against Boston? Didn't show up. No show. You played sorry, I'm blanking right now. You played the Reds. You played Baltimore. You played the Red Sox. Who else have you played over this stretch? Because more than I'm totally blanking here. Sorry. Totally blanking. In-season tools. Who did we play? Because I'm so bad at the schedule sometimes. I'm awful at the schedule. Because once I see the game, the moments will pop to me. But the schedule sometimes, and I guess I'm just worked up right now. Maybe I'm a little more emotional. Angels. Oh my God. Don't get me started with that Angels series. Time after time. Again. Run in score position. Doesn't show up. Run in score position. Doesn't show up. Run in score position. Doesn't show up. Now, that's a team-wide thing. The team as a whole is not hitting. The Yankees are slugging .250 with runners on. Not runners in scoring position. Runners on in 240-something plate appearances over their last 16 games. That's terrible. So bad. Awful. Unacceptable. But, again, you know that. If you know baseball, you know that that's not predictive. That, there's no team outside of a terrible, you have to be the Rockies, basically, that you can say your true talent level with runners on is a 500 OPS. Even bad teams are going to perform better than that. Honestly, the Rockies are going to, if you're going to take the OPS over under at 540, you're taking the over on the Rockies with runners on, right? Even bad teams perform better than that. So even if you think that they're never going to hit with runners in scoring position, you can't think they're going to be that bad. You can't, because that's never happened before. I'm going to check what the lowest OPS is in a single season with runners in scoring position. I don't know if you can actually check that on Fangraphs, but I'll check it this year, like just the teams this year. With runners on base, the lowest OPS in baseball belongs to the White Sox at 615. Yankees OPS at like sub 600. So that won't hold itself up because no team can be that bad with runners on base. No, none. No team can do that. No team can pull that off over 162 games. Even the worst team of all time, the White Sox, 620. Like, it's really bad to be bad with runners on. It's very hard to do it. Trying to think of other, like, the 03 Tigers. The 03 Tigers are a good pick. 654. I know that the OPS back then was just naturally higher. Like, the league average OPS was higher. But even if you adjust for that, so, yeah, even if you adjust for that, that's not going to hold up. But they have to turn it around. They have to turn it around. It has to turn around now. There needs to be some sense of urgency. There needs to be some like, hey, pep in our step. Not saying they're not trying. Not saying they're not urgent. But shit, the play on the field sucks. And the mistakes suck. The mistakes suck. They're bad. Bad. Really bad. Let me go over a log of mistakes here. Boston series. Jason at second. Rice at second. 2 outs. Yankees have been hitting with runners in scoring position. You need as many chances as you can get. Because if you take away chances, you know that you're just slumping. You need as many chances as possible. Thrown out on stupid, dumb, moron baseball plays. Today was, holy shit. What were they doing on that bump pop-up? What in God's name were you doing on that pop-up? Wells has to charge that ball. Winans has to get to that ball. One of those two have to be at the ball. I'm sorry. One of those two guys have to be at that ball. Have to. What are we doing? Judge to end the game. Look, this is a sneaky bad play because when I say sneaky bad, I mean, like, I don't know if people are going to pay attention to this enough. Aaron Judge runs into an out at third for no reason at all to end the game. That's so bad from your captain. Rice, very lucky he scored on this, almost botched a tag-up attempt. Judge botched a tag-up attempt against Orioles in a win. Defensively, Volpe with the mistakes that he's made over the last 2 weeks defensively. Backbreaker against the Angels. Backbreaker, killer. Lost you a baseball game. Killer. Why you're not up 2.5 with a chance to go down 1.5? By chance, I mean they're going to go down 1.5 games, or they're going to go down to half a game to the division lead. Killing you, murdering you, slaughtering you on that play. Terrible. Can't happen. Can't happen plays. Cannot happen baseball plays when you cannot score runs. That's what that is. Runners on. No one out. Phil Mayhew can't get a bunt down. Can't just turn around, bunt one down. Can't put one in play. Can't for the life of him put a ball in play. But you know he's going to put a ball in play with a runner on first, and it's going to be right to second base. Clean, easy, smooth double play. You know that's when the ball's going to be put in play for DJ LeMahieu. These little things have added up to 6-10, to division lead, gone. That's what the little things have added up to. And now you have Marcus Stroman pitching tomorrow. Today was kind of a must-win to win the series. And it's just, we'll get him tomorrow. Like, no, what do you mean you get him tomorrow? That's part of it. You know, I don't think the Yankees should move away from, like, don't get too high, don't get too low. Because if you get too high and then you get too low, like, you can't get out of it. You're just going to spiral and crash and burn. And the Yankees have never spiraled, crashed, and burned in a season. The one year they did, Judge got hurt. Because even last year, they spiraled for a bit. Then they won the division, and they went to the World Series. 2022, that's probably the closest to, like, a quote-unquote crash and burn, but they did win the division. Like, they didn't crash. Crash and burning to me is like you blow the division lead, and you don't even make the playoffs. You go to a wild card, you flame out in round one. 2021, they got off to a bad start, and they picked it up, and they saved their season. And in 2020 is like the close to a crash and burn. Good start and then just wither away. And then, even then they were like a game away from going to the ALCS. So like they're not crash and burn artists. Crash and burn artists are like, that's just not what they are. They're not like the Red Sox are crash and burn artists lately. Good starts, put yourself in a position where maybe you can get to a playoff spot, then play dog shit baseball in the second half and miss the playoffs. That's crashing and burning to me. But at the same time, man, this ain't any better. This isn't any better than, no, this is better than crashing and burning. But this isn't good. You know? Yes, the Orioles, that's a great example. The Orioles crashed and burned last year. That's a crash and a burn. That's so different from just a slump. And slumps happen. This is baseball. But again, I ask myself, why does it have to be full of stupid mistakes? These stats blew my mind. Blew my mind. Should these tab instead. Go to team stats. Look at the teams as base running teams. Now, the New York Yankees are not a slow baseball team. I want to clarify this. The New York Yankees are league average. The New York Yankees sprint speed is the same as the Tampa Bay Rays. And I want you to look at where the Rays are and where the Yankees are. All right? All right. Now, Baseball Savant says the Rays are a bad base running team, which is fair. They do make a lot of outs in the bases. The Dodgers, are about as fast as the Yankees. Look at them. One of the best base running teams in baseball. Why are the Yankees 24th? Why are the Yankees a bad base running team? Actually, I don't know if this is accurate. Hold on. No. This is accurate. It is interesting that the Cubs are a bad base running team here. Do they factor in stolen? Oh, these are not factoring in stolen bases. You're just extra bases taken. Sorry. I want base running run value. I'm like, what? Why are we? How are the Rays? I'm like, how are the Rays bad at base running? The Cubs. Yeah, there we go. The Yankees are a bad base running team. -1 base running runs. Cubs are 5th. Rays are 3rd. Rays are about as fast as you are. Dodgers, about as fast as you are. Runs via stolen bases. Yankees are net neutral. Runs via extra bases taken. Yankees are net negative. Now, they're bad on the bases. They're bad on the bases. That's just something they're bad at. If you look at their stolen base percentage, share this tab right here. Find your New York Yankees right here. 74% stolen base rate. One of the worst in baseball. They don't steal a lot. They have fewer steals than league average and more caught steals than league average. But they don't attempt that many steals in the first place. That's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. It's really bad to be that bad on the bases. But you might go, Ryan, they're not a fast team. Well, again, they're not slow. If they were slow, I would agree, but they're not. This is not a slow baseball team. Again, look at the share tab instead. The Yankees are as fast as the Dodgers, as fast as the Rays, as fast as the Padres. Why are they not better? The Tigers are slower than them by step, but they're much better at taking the extra base. The Yankees are one of the worst teams in baseball at taking the extra base. We might go again, hey, they're not good at stealing bases. That's not their style. Okay, fine. What about taking the extra base? Attempt rate above average. Estimated attempt rate above average. Or below average. Yankees are the second worst in baseball. Only the Mariners are worse at them at not taking the extra base when the data tells them they should. They don't have good instincts on the bases. They don't. That is an instinct reflection, in my opinion. That reflects on your instincts. Because if you are not taking the extra base when you should, you aren't reading the plays properly. Now, I did wonder, maybe the Yankees are bad at these situations. Maybe the Yankees are bad at this. That's not the case. The Yankees are good at this. They're top 10. They're good in terms of on a per rate basis. What about safe rate per opportunity? League average. They're not bad enough at this to not do it. They just don't do it enough. And again, that's instincts. That's reading the play. Why are they such a bad base running team? A lot of projections had them being a good base running team. And again, they're faster than they've been in years past. Defensively, the Yankees are not a bad defensive team. I think that's a misconception that people have, that it's like, they're not a bad defensive team. They're not. Now, I don't know why I can't get, I guess you can look through here. We'll look on Fangraphs. '13th in fielding run value. 6th in defensive runs saved. The best catching team in baseball, framing-wise. And I know that that's the case. I love this team in terms of their catching abilities. Defensively. Maybe not offensively right now. We'll talk about Austin Wells. -5 outs above average, 21st. So 6th. Is it 6th? Yes, 6th, 21st, 15th, 13th. 6th, 21st, 13th. Let's look at last year. 6th, 21st, 13th. Last year, 12th in defensive runs saved. 12th in outs above average. 2nd in fielding run value. They're if you want to aggregate all the defensive data, they're about as good defensively as they were last year without Gleyber Torres. I don't see that. Now, there are a couple of reasons why. Their best defensive second baseman doesn't play second base anymore. He plays third base because of DJ LeMahieu, who sucks. He's not good at baseball. Their best defensive catchers are playing every day. That helps. Their outfield alignment has to change frequently. And, Jason Dominguez isn't the best defensive left fielder. That's fine, but he's been better as of late. I think you could look at, from a physical standpoint, from an eye test standpoint, his defense looks better. And the statistics back up that he's been a relatively average defender over the last 2 months in left field. That's an improvement. And Gleyber Torres isn't here, as David mentioned here, because of his defense. He's bad defensively. Shit. So we should play Jazz at third, who's a bad defender at third. It's a problem. They're consistently inconsistent with their rules defensively as position players. Soto can't play left field because he's a bad defensive left fielder, but Jason can and he's a bad defensive left fielder. Sure, because you have to play Verdugo, have to acquire Verdugo. Sure, whatever. Can't play Jazz at third because you need to have Jazz at second, and you need to keep him there because Aaron Boone said, and I quote, "Don't want him bouncing back and forth in season." Then you bounce them back and forth because if you acquire third baseman, you'll have moved him to third, moved him to second, moved him to third, then moved him back to second. So second to third to third to second. Like, what are we doing? Why was the emphasis placed on defense if we're not going to be a great defensive team, like a phenomenal defensive team, like the best defensive team in baseball, or consistently a top 5 defensive team? They're not top 5 in any defensive metric outside of framing. They're a top 5 catching defense team, not top 5 on the field, in the infield or the outfield. If you want to look at fielding run value, just infielders and outfielders. Let's look at outfielders because the infield's regressed dramatically. But let's look at the out because of Volpe being worse out there. Look at the outfield. Fielding run value. This year, this is last year. This year. These are 7th in outfield fielding run value. That makes sense. You lost Soto. You added Bellinger. You play Grisham more. Yes, Dominguez is a bad defender, but you don't play him every day. You cycle him in and out. Grisham, Bellinger, Judge playing right field. That makes sense. That has worked for them. Their outfield has actually been very good defensively. I have no complaints there. Fielding run value, they're top 10. Defensive runs saved, they actually don't grade out well in defensive runs saved. And then an outs and above average, they're 14th. They're fine in the outfield, but they're better than they were last year. First base, second base, third base, shortstop is kind of a hodgepodge of mid defensively. You have Jazz and DJ who have combined to be a very good defensive duo at second. They are 5th in defensive runs saved, 12th in outs above average, and 12th in fielding run value. And their best defensive second baseman, the one who's anchoring a lot of that value, doesn't play there right now. Third base. Where are the Yankees? Defensively at third base. -1 defensive run saved. That's 19th. -5 outs above average. That's 14th. -4 outs above average. Fielding run value. That's 24th. So they're bad at third. First base. Where are we? -1 defensive run saved. 17th. -2 outs above average, 20th. -1 fielding run value, 15th. They're below average at there. And then Volpe, he's not been that good of a base runner. He's been a bad base runner, and he hasn't been that good of a defender either. So the Yankees have negative fielding run value at 3 of their 4 infield positions after losing Gleyber Torres. That's so dumb. How are you in that spot? Now, Cabrera, that hurts because Cabrera was your best defensive third baseman. That hurts. But what were they going to do when DJ got back? Play him at second when Jazz didn't play? And then play Jazz in like a platoon with DJ? Was that their plan? What was their plan? I don't know what the plan was with DJ. What was it? What was it, man? What was it? I don't know what the plan was there. But again, like when we sit here and talk about the infield, they're bad defensively. They're not a good defensive infield. They're a bad defensive infield. That is what they are. How are you a bad defensive infielder after losing Gleyber Torres? How does that happen? How in God's name does that happen to you? How? How does that happen? Those are the things that I'm worried about. They're bad defensively still in the infield, and that's important. That's where I want to be. Phenomenal defensively. And they're bad on the bases. They're bad on the bases. They're really bad on the bases. They have bad baseball instincts on the bases. They don't make good baseball plays on the bases. That is so worrisome to me. So worrisome to me. And that's going to be worrisome to me for quite some time until that gets fixed. Until it does. Until it does. So, look, I'm not going to be here for a full hour because I can't do a whole hour of like talking about the team being bad. I'm going to be honest with you. But I mean, man, it has to get better than this. It has to get better than this. It has to. They have to. It has to. They have to be better than this on a defensive side of things. They have to be better than this on the base running side of things. They have to be better than this because not being better than at this when you let Gleyber Torres leave is so unacceptable and so bad. It reflects so poorly. It reflects so poorly on you as an organization, on what you prioritize, on the message you're selling, on what you're trying to tell what you aspire to do as an organization. They aspire to be a better defensive team, and they haven't accomplished that. That is bad. That's so bad. So bad. And they've lost games because of defense. They've freaking lost games because of their gloves multiple times this year. Multiple times this year. Multiple gaps. Multiple stupid moments. You have no idea if Ben Rice getting thrown out at second cost you from scoring 2 runs that day, and that might have won you a baseball game. You have no idea. No idea if Volpe getting thrown out at third is why you didn't win that Friday night game. You have no idea if Jason Dominguez getting thrown out at second robbed the Yankees of an opportunity to hit a home run or an extra base hit to tie that game. You have no idea. You have no idea if Anthony Volpe turns 2 against the Rays in that game where Mark Lear Jr. is pitching. If he turns 2 there, the Yankees win that game. That's a game you take away from the Rays. You add a game to their loss column, and you take one away from the Yankees. That's 2 games. 2! Huge swing. Huge. Huge. You have no idea if that turn double play against the Angels cost you a baseball game. No clue. None at all. None. None at all. How many games would the Yankees have won if they had Gleyber Torres on this team? A lot more. And I remember saying on this live stream back in January, you'd rather have Gleyber than not have Gleyber. You'd rather have Gleyber than do nothing. And it's crazy to suggest otherwise. And turns out, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy to do the opposite. It was crazy to do nothing. Now, I don't believe that Aaron Judge is a bad leader. I don't. I don't believe that he's not a vocal leader. But I will say it's a poor reflection that Aaron Judge has been bad over this stretch. And I'm going to be honest, I think it's really a bad reflection on him right now. But I'm not going to do the whole, like, well, he's a choker, he's this, he's that. Like, I'm going to wait till the postseason. Because you see, at the end of the day, I judge you on your postseason play. Doesn't fucking matter what you did in the regular season. Doesn't matter at that point, right? If Aaron Judge is the most clutch regular season of all time and then has a bad postseason clutch-wise, no one's going to say, well, he's clutch. They're going to say he's a choker. He's a playoff dropper. So I don't want to start having these leadership conversations because of that. But I will say it's bad that they're what they are as a team, base running wise and defensively, when they lost Soto and lost Torres and lost Rizzo. They've lost and Verdugo. So they lost their 4 worst base runners and they lost 2 of their worst defensive players and are arguably worse defensively and are still bad on the bases. Not as bad as last year, but bad on the bases. That the improvement wasn't massive. That they didn't go from bad to great at that. That they were going to need to do that, and that they're good right now because their offense was clicking for the most of the year. That's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem that you're not good at the things you thought you were going to be good at. The Yankees were really bad on the bases last year. Very bad. Like, way worse than this year bad. I want to clarify this. They were very bad on the bases last year. Way worse than this year. Way worse. Way worse. So much worse. But they're still bad at it. They're still bad at it. That's the problem. They're still bad at it. And they might be worse defensively. At least they're worse defensively in the infield. That is a problem. So, yeah. That's kind of where I'm at with this. I'd love to know what you guys think, though. I'm going to wrap things up here. Keep it short. I'm frustrated. I think everyone is, too. But Got to win tomorrow, and you got Marcus Stroman going for you to be the stopper. Okay. All right. We'll see how that goes. But hope you guys doing well. Hope you guys doing great. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Saturday. Put back a couple beers if you're over 21 or 21 and older. Have a good day. If you're grilling, grill. If you're vibing, vibe. If you're having a day, have a day. Love you all. Peace out. And let's go Yankees. You know where to follow us. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, of course, this YouTube page. We'll see you guys in the next one. We'll be live Monday. No, not Monday. Excuse me. Monday I won't be around. Goals to be live Tuesday at 2 p.m. So Tuesday, 2 p.m. is the next live stream. But we still have videos coming out for that stretch. But it's just I'm a little bit busy during the afternoon. This next couple of weeks are going to be hectic, but I'm still the goal. I want to stream. Streaming is one of my biggest priorities. My number one priority is writing and video work, but streaming is a big part of what I want to do moving forward. To be transparent with you guys, I have failed you in that regard. I have failed you all in terms of live streams. I should be doing them more. I owe you that. I owe that to you guys. That is my responsibility, and it will be. And I want this channel to. I want my viewers to hold me accountable to that, because that is a standard I believe you guys should be able to have on this channel. I enjoy this format where I kind of pull up some stats. I show some stats with you guys. We talk about them like that. Yeah. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Ryan Garcia. This is Fireside Yankees. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Saturday. Beautiful weather. Probably not sweltering hot. Maybe got to go in the pool still, take a dip. Have a great rest of your day. Let's go, Jenks. Peace out.
Perfect.